Good morning guys and welcome back to another video from here in Antalya. I hope you're having an amazing day because this is going to be an epic video. So Antalya itself it's a nice town, but we've pretty much seen it all yesterday. But what I'm very excited about today is that we are going to be taking a motorbike. It is a motorcycle kind of day, and you know that I love those type of days. We're going to be taking the motorcycle out and we're gonna go visit some waterfalls. Antalya is kind of like the waterfall capital of Turkey. So we're gonna check out some waterfalls, and then in the afternoon we're gonna go to a national park and we are going to hike up this mountain to see some ancient ruins. I am very excited. These ruins are supposed to be epic. We're gonna have some really nice drone shots today, which I am very excited about. So first things first, it is currently 8:53. Let's go get our motorbike at the rental store, which we already reserved from yesterday. I have to say, early in the morning, Old Town Kaleci district of Antalya is just literally silent. There's not a soul to be found anywhere. Like, the entire area is just, it's like an abandoned old town. So it's great. If you want to have that sort of vibe, wake up early and visit Antalya's old town. Awesome. Okay.
Start key. Fren.
Okay.
Automatic.
Alright, thank you. And then just to turn off would be like that. Okay. Perfect.
Parking key.
Okay, we've got our motorcycle. Let's start the day.
$5.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Driving on the streets of Antalya is a whole nother experience. That was very stressful. Not only because it's a city, but also because I had no clue where we were going. And the weird thing is that the roads, they're only like one direction. So I wanted to turn right in certain areas. You weren't allowed to. So I had to make like big roundabouts in Antalya. It's a whole mess. But we've come to our first stop of the day. This is supposed to be a very beautiful waterfall. And this place is called Duden Silalesi. You can probably hear from the loud noise, that right there, that's the waterfall. Now there's actually two Duden waterfalls here in Antalya, so this is one of them. The other one empties out into the sea. So this Duden river, sort of creek, it flows through Antalya. So this is one of the waterfalls, and then this creek will collect all the way until it reaches the coastline, where it will fall off a cliff, and that's the second Duden waterfall. But I have to say, even during the dry season, it's currently like September, this is kind of like the dry season, it's still full of water. Now, the downside of coming here is that unlike in Indonesia or in the Philippines, you can't get really close to the waterfall, you can't swim near the waterfall, you can't really enjoy the water pouring on you. That is kind of a bummer, because on a really hot day like today here in Antalya, that would have been perfect. And there's a lot of signs saying don't swim because of danger or death, especially because the rapids are so shallow that if you were to lose your footing and fall off, you would be swept into a bunch of rapids. And yeah, there are a lot of sharp rocks there, but I have to say, seeing it from afar is really beautiful. And they have two decks. So there's one deck, which is the one we are on right now, where you can see the waterfall from the waterfall level. And then there's another one on top where you can see it from like a bird's eye view, which is really, really great. Now what we're gonna do now is we're gonna explore the behind of the waterfall. So there's like a cave system behind the waterfall. We're gonna go check that out and see what it looks like from behind the falls. So the cave system itself is very, very interesting. It's actually a lot of different chambers that you can check out, but it's really, really short. Like I've probably come close to hitting my head a lot of times, but it also gets really, really wet in here. So sometimes the water will drip from the top of the cave down, especially because the waterfall is right there, and sometimes it splashes onto the walking path. So make sure to beware of that, but it's really, really short. So if you're above 6 feet, you're gonna struggle, but if you're like 5'2", this is the perfect playground for you. I think that about wraps up this waterfall right here. Let's head to our next stop. Thank you. After a very dusty 30-minute motorcycle ride through the Turkish countryside, we have made it to our next stop, which costs 9 liras for entry. This is another waterfall. Like I said, Antalya is full of these gorgeous waterfalls, and the place of this place, Kursunlu Şelalesi. Although the entrance fee to this place was almost double the price of the earlier Duden waterfalls, Kursunlu Şelalesi, well, let's just say it didn't even come close to my expectations. Let me show you what the photos on Google look like, and then what I'm seeing right here. The reason it's so sad, this waterfall, is because it's currently the dry season, so there's barely any water flowing, and let's just say it's really, really disappointing that I came all this way and paid 10 liras to see a couple drops of water fall from a high point. I will say Indonesian waterfalls, Filipino waterfalls are a lot better than that. So I think during the dry season you can skip this waterfall, but I can definitely see that during the wet season this place would be gorgeous. I mean, the water you can see right now, it's so clear, and there's fishes inside, there's ducks, and then the entire surrounding, like you have that moss growing. The environment is beautiful. It's really, really gorgeous. It is a wonderful place. It's just that there's no water right now. So don't come during the dry season, come during the rainy season, and you will have a beautiful, spectacular time if you decide to come to Kursunlu Waterfalls. So other than the main waterfall itself, this like little park sort of area, I guess, has a lot of other things. Like there's like a plant tunnel, there's a little waterfall, there's a couple scenic bridges. I mean, I don't think they're really that impressive. The only real thing to come here for is the waterfall, which even at this time isn't particularly in its best shape. But if you come back, you know, when it's the wet season, when it's raining, and there's a bigger waterfall, then I'm sure it would look terrific. But even now, I will say, it's not the best, but it is still really nice. The scenery, the environment, really, really serene. Although there have been more tourists coming in, so not so serene anymore, but for a couple minutes there, I had it to myself, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So now we're just gonna exit this sort of park. I'm not even sure what it's called. I think it's just like a little park, and then we are going back on the motorcycle. We have just gotten off our bike, and I have to say, the last hour and a half of motorcycling through the Turkish countryside has just been gorgeous. It is just beautiful mountains, you know, farmland. It's stunning. But after a very steep ride up a mountain, we are now at a ancient city known as Termessos. Now this ancient city is literally perched on the very top of a mountain, so we've got a lot more walking to do. Let's start making our way up there. We are literally 10 minutes into the hike and I'm already dying. I'm gonna be eating so much for dinner tonight. My calves are burning. I can feel the calories from breakfast burning. I don't know if it's that I'm out of shape, or the altitude is high, or the fact that this road is particularly steep, or maybe all three factors. Because, man, this is the hardest trek I have done in a very, very long time. The one good thing about this hike is that it's because it's so high up, you get like an occasional mountain breeze. Yeah, that feels fantastic. But literally the hike so far, I've seen 2 people and they were coming down. So not many people come here. I think it's because it's really, really difficult, and unless you are really, really fit like those 2 backpackers I met, this is gonna be quite the difficult trek. So this is Termessos, but Termessos is this ancient Lycian city. It's built on the top of this mountain, and it is one of the few remaining unrestored antiquity sites in Turkey. What does that mean? That means that, you know, archaeologists haven't come here and tried to put together and piece together what it was supposed to look like. So, for example, if you went to Ephesus, or if you saw my video on Ephesus, you'll see like everything is pretty, you know, proper, everything is put in the right places and everything. But here, they just let the stones fall. So you're looking at the way it was discovered. Nothing was ever touched, nothing was restored, nothing was repaired. This is the way Termessos was when the scientist or whoever it was found this place. So that means that you're getting a really real raw experience, and it's not like beautiful, it's not supposed to be designed for tourists. It is just the way it was, and that's why all these rocks are just like lying here around, and there's barely any proper path. The pathway is literally climbing up rocks because no one has done any restoration work, and they've just kept it the way it is. I think part of the reason has to be with how inaccessible this place is. It is so difficult to get up here, but I think another part is that it's just so beautiful on its own, the way it is in the mountains. So they've just sort of let it be. But that's why I really wanted to come here, because this place is, I think, one of the few places in the world where you can get an unrestored antiquity site. Right now, I am loving the way it is. Not my body though, my calves are telling me to head back. So let's quickly make this over and let's get up to the top. We have now officially made it inside the city walls, and there is no better evidence of that than the fact that I am literally surrounded by rocks that used to make up this city. They're all collapsed, they're all lying on the ground now, but they are very difficult to climb up. Now you can see all the ancient parts of the city. So earlier we passed by the gymnasium, they had a bath, they have like an agora, so it has all the structures of any ancient city. It's just that this ancient city is not well restored, and it's not very obvious what is what unless you read the signs. So it is still very, very steep. I don't know how people live here. Literally, this right here, this right behind me, this used to be a street. I have no idea how you can climb this street every single day. Like, you have to be going to that gymnasium down there a lot to be able to climb this street. But we are continuing our way up because there is one very important structure here that is supposed to be like the most beautiful place in probably Antalya. We have arrived at probably the most magnificent sight here at Termessos. I saw this photo and that is why I decided I had to come to Termessos. Let me show you the theater of Termessos. This has to be one of the most magnificent, the most beautiful moments I have ever witnessed. I mean, can you imagine living here thousands of years ago, listening to or watching a theater on the floor where all this rubble is? So the thing about sunsets here in Termessos is because it's so mountainous, there's so many mountains, the sun sets actually pretty early. So it's currently like 6:30. Usually the sun sets in Turkey like 7:30, but here it's pretty much dusk at this point and the Colosseum's already dark because the mountains block out the sun. So we are going to head back before the entire place blacks out and I can't navigate my way back to Antalya. I will see you guys when we are back in the city. Welcome back to Antalya. Let's talk about today. Today has been just an exceptional day. Termessos, if you ever come to Turkey, that is a must go to. It is literally one of the most beautiful places in the entire world. I would consider it the Machu Picchu of Turkey because yeah, it is just gorgeous. It is just perfect. You cannot miss Termessos. I cannot stress that enough. You cannot miss Termessos. Find a way to get there. It is totally worth the effort. I mean, it takes like what, an hour to get out there, but completely worth it. You have to do it. It's just like, yeah, it's one of those memorable travel moments. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more food and travel videos. I'm very excited for tomorrow's plans, so make sure to stay notified so you know when a new video is going to post. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.